The galaxy called it the Varelian Consensus, a web of empires, coalitions and ancient powers linked by trade routes and fear. For 10,000 years war followed rules. Strength was measured in fleets. Intelligence was measured in age. And survival belonged to those who conquered early. Humanity was none of those things. In the official records, humans were listed as a minor, fractured species from a yellow star system. Technologically curious, socially unstable, militarily irrelevant. Their worlds were marked for future absorption. No one expected resistance. The Jacquard Dominion fleet arrived at the edge of Solarian expanse with confidence bordering on boredom. High Admiral Threx Valuan reclined on his command throne, his armored crest glowing faintly blue. Around him, massive holograms displayed thousands of ships, needle-shaped destroyers, carrier spines, planet-breaker platforms. "Confirmed target," Threx said calmly. A technician responded, mandibles twitching. "Confirmed. Human colony world, EOS 9. Population, 3 billion. Defenses, negligible." Soft laughter rippled across the bridge. "They dared to settle beyond their protected zone?" Threx scoffed. "How optimistic." A subordinate leaned forward. "Admiral, long-range sensors detect 1 vessel." Threx raised an eye ridge. "1? Yes. Human design. Possibly a scout or relic." The hologram shifted. The ship appeared, small, blocky, asymmetrical. No glowing energy veins. No shield flare. No fleet behind it. Just one vessel, drifting calmly between the Dominion and the human colony. The bridge erupted in laughter. "That is their defense?" Threx said, amused. "A museum piece?" The ship transmitted a signal. A human face appeared on the screen. Pale skin. Calm eyes. No insignia except a simple symbol on the collar, a circle crossed by a single line. "This is UNS Resolve," the human said evenly. "You are approaching sovereign human territory. Turn back." Threx stood towering. "You speak to a Dominion fleet of 3,000 warships." The human nodded. "Yes, that's why I'm here." More laughter. Threx leaned forward. "You have 1 ship. No shields. No escorts. No chance." The human's voice didn't change. "Admiral Valuan, I suggest you withdraw." Threx gestured dismissively. "End transmission." But before the signal cut, the human added one final line. "You are already inside our engagement envelope." Silence followed. Then the sensor screamed. Energy spikes erupted across Dominion space, not from the human ship but from everywhere else. "What is happening?" Threx roared. A technician shouted, "Gravitational distortions." "Microjumps?" "No, they're not jumps. Space is folding." Invisible lines appeared across the hologram, forming a vast geometric web. The human ship did not move. But space around the Dominion fleet shifted. Ships began to drift, then collide. Command channels flooded with panic. "Our navigation is compromised. Thrusters unresponsive." "We're being pulled by what?" Threx stared in disbelief. "Weapons. Fire." Thousands of beams lanced toward the lone human vessel. They vanished. Not deflected. Not absorbed. Simply gone. The human ship flickered, untouched. A new signal opened. The same human officer appeared. "Admiral," she said calmly, "this is a demonstration, not an attack." Threx's voice trembled. "What are you?" The human paused. "Late," she replied. With a single gesture, she terminated the call. The geometric web collapsed. Space snapped back into place. 100 Dominion ships were gone, compressed into singularities smaller than atoms. The rest drifted, crippled, silent. The human ship turned slowly and returned toward EOS 9. Behind it, the most powerful fleet in the sector burned in shame. Across the galaxy, observers stared at their screens. The Varelian Senate emergency chamber filled with chaos. Impossible. That was 1 ship. Humans don't have this technology. An ancient observer species spoke at last. "We dismissed them because they were young," the elder said quietly. "We forgot what youth means." The chamber fell silent. "What does it mean?" someone asked. The elder's eyes darkened. "It means they learn faster than fear." Far away on Earth, alarms rang, not in panic but in readiness. Admiral Elena Cross watched the data scroll. "First contact phase complete," an aide said. Cross nodded slowly. "Inform the council," she said. "The galaxy just noticed us." She looked at the star map, thousands of systems, countless empires. "And now," she whispered, "they'll learn why we stayed quiet." The shockwave from the Solarian expanse reached the heart of the galaxy in less than an hour. Not as radiation, not as debris, but as fear. In the vast orbital ring above the neutral world Viral Prime, the grand chamber of the Virelian consensus convened in emergency session. Millions of years of history echoed in that place. Wars declared, species erased, borders redrawn. Now, for the first time in recorded memory, the chamber was afraid of a species with one ship. Holographic projections replayed the event again and again. The Jacquard Dominion fleet, one of the consensus' largest military powers, reduced to drifting wreckage without a traditional battle. Delegates shouted over one another. That technology violates causality. No energy signature. No detectable weapon. The humans must have ancient allies. At the center of the chamber floated Archivist Kethrael, an ancient being whose species had observed civilizations rise and fall for eons. Its many eyes blinked slowly. Order, Kethrael intoned. Speculation does not replace understanding. A tall, crystalline figure stepped forward, Envoy Silex of the Corvin Technate. This is a deception, Silex said sharply. Humans are less than 3 centuries spacefaring. Their industrial output cannot support such power. Someone is using them. Kethrael rotated slightly. And yet the ship bore human markings. Human command protocols. Human speech. Another voice cut in, cold, predatory. Then perhaps, said Overlord Vesh of the Nexari Swarm, we should exterminate them before they multiply. The chamber stirred uneasily. The Dominion attempted that, Kethrael replied. And failed. Silence fell. At the edge of the chamber, a new hologram activated. A human figure appeared. Not a soldier this time. A diplomat. She wore dark civilian attire, her posture calm but alert. Her eyes scanned the chamber without fear. This is Ambassador Lien Moore, representing the United Human Systems, she said evenly. Thank you for accepting our transmission. Chaos erupted instantly. You dare appear here? This is an act of provocation. Security. Kethrael raised a limb. Let her speak. Moore inclined her head respectfully. For centuries, humanity was observed, measured, and dismissed, she said. We were told we were too young, too divided, too weak. She paused, letting the words settle. So we listened, we learned, and we prepared. Envoy Silex's crystalline facets flared. Prepared in secret? Yes, Moore replied simply. Because history taught us something important. And what is that? Overlord Vesh hissed. Moore met his gaze. The first species to reveal its full strength rarely survives long. The chamber went still. We did not build vast empires, Moore continued. We did not conquer neighbors. We focused inward. On efficiency. On adaptability. On technologies that didn't scale outward, but inward. Kethrael's many eyes narrowed. Explain. Moore raised a hand and a new projection appeared. Human vessels, not thousands but dozens. It's unique. Each compact. Each radiating unfamiliar physics. Our ships are not fleets, she said. They are solutions. Envoy Silex scoffed. One ship cannot hold territory. Moore smiled faintly. We don't hold territory. We deny access. A ripple of unease moved through the chamber. The vessel you saw, Moore continued, was a gravimetric authority platform. It rewrites local physical constants within controlled volumes. Overlord Vesh recoiled slightly. You weaponized reality. Moore nodded. After discovering others already had. The implication hung heavy. Kethrael spoke quietly. What do you want, human ambassador? Moore did not hesitate. Recognition, she said. Sovereignty. And an end to expansion into our space. And if we refuse? Silex asked. Moore's expression hardened, not angry but resolute. Then the next demonstration won't be limited to one system. Far from Viral Prime, in a dark region of space known as the Shattered Reach, Admiral Elena Cross stood on the bridge of the UNS Resolve. Status, she asked. Dominion fleet retreating, an officer reported. Consensus channels in chaos. Cross nodded. Good. A younger officer hesitated. Ma'am, are we really ready if they unite against us? Cross turned, her eyes steady. They already outnumber us, she said. They always have. She gestured to the tactical display, dozens of human ships awakening across hidden locations. But they still think in terms of mass, she continued. We think in terms of leverage. The ship's AI chimed softly. Phase 2 preparations complete, it said. Cross allowed herself a thin smile. Let them debate, she said, while they argue about what we are. The stars shifted as another human vessel emerged from silent space. We'll decide who they're allowed to be. Back in the Varelian Grand Chamber, Archivist Kethrael spoke the words that would echo across the galaxy. The consensus must reconsider its assumptions, the ancient being declared. Humanity is not a minor species. It paused. It is a strategic one. Fear replaced arrogance. And somewhere deep in galactic space, ancient powers that had slept for millennia began to stir, drawn awake by a single, undeniable truth. The balance had changed. And it had changed quietly. The galaxy had not yet recovered from the shock of EOS 9 when whispers began to spread. Not announcements. Not proclamations. Whispers, rumors carried by smugglers, traders, and exiles. Humans are different, said a Jacquard pilot to his companion, voice trembling. One ship and the fleet was gone. They lie, the companion replied. No species can do that. They weren't lying. Even as the words traveled, the human systems moved quietly. They did not announce their ships, nor parade them through major trade routes. Instead, human vessels slipped through hyperlanes previously considered untraveled. They established hidden listening posts, calculated gravitational distortions, and observed alien behavior with almost clinical precision. In the outer rim, near a fractured planet known as Dralis 9, human agents met in the ruins of a collapsed alien city. The buildings were crystalline spires, shattered centuries ago by their own civil war. Reports? Asked Commander Ravi Chin, dark-haired and sharp-eyed. A young human operative, Mira Solis, handed over a datapad. Nexari scouts detected. They're trying to map our positions. Our traps on EOS 9 were partially compromised, but they didn't see the vessels in the Lorna Belt. Chin nodded. Good. That's exactly what we want. Let them overreach. Mira frowned. They'll strike eventually. You know that. Chin leaned forward. Yes. But timing is everything. One small fleet can't fight 10,000 ships head-on. But one fleet with leverage can make the galaxy question everything it knows about war. Mira looked out over the jagged skyline. I just hope the galaxy remembers that humans don't fight like anyone else. Chen's lips curled into a faint smile. They won't. And that's the point. Meanwhile, in Viral Prime, the Grand Chamber debated a formal response. Envoy Silex paced, crystalline facets glittering. We cannot let them exist. One species rewriting physics in combat. This is existential. Overlord Vesh snarled. Then we destroy them. All of them. Before they grow. Kethrael, the archivist, spoke carefully. Violence is a tool, but only if it serves understanding. We cannot predict what humanity will do if we strike blindly. Silence followed, broken by a subtle vibration. The chamber monitors flickered. A human hologram appeared. It was Ambassador Lien Moore again. This time her presence was larger, more imposing. Consensus delegates, she said, voice steady, we have observed your deliberations. Threats are understandable, but unnecessary. We do not seek your destruction. Silex's voice cracked. You manipulate. You threaten us with your physics. Moore's gaze hardened. We manipulate only the rules you refuse to understand. Threats are only a response to ignorance. We are willing to negotiate under clear terms. The delegates whispered. The word carried power. Moore's image flickered, replaced by a tactical projection. One star system exploded, not with a fleet strike but via subtle, calculated shifts in gravitational equilibrium. Not a life lost, but a station disintegrated quietly. You call that negotiation? Overlord Vesh growled. Yes, Moore replied. We speak in consequences. We give you time to choose wisely. Step too close and the next demonstration will be unavoidable. Even Kethrael flinched. Back in human-controlled space, Admiral Elena Cross prepared her officers for the coming storm. Scouts report increased Dominion and Nexari activity, said Lieutenant Jordan. They're probing our hidden systems. Cross studied the star maps, her fingers tracing the hyperlanes humans had secretly mastered. They're panicking. Good. Panic makes them predictable. A young tactical officer asked hesitantly, Ma'am, what if they discover the gravimetric authority platforms? Cross looked at the officer directly. Then they'll learn what every predator in history has learned about humans. We adapt faster than they can anticipate. One mistake is all it takes. The room was silent. Even the hum of the ship seemed to pause in respect. Prepare for Phase 3, Cross said finally. It's time to show them why one vessel can make an entire galaxy rethink power. In the Shattered Reach, a human stealth fleet shadowed a Nexari task force. The alien ships were enormous, insectoid, covered in reflective carapace. They scanned constantly, but humans had long since learned to manipulate phase signatures, bending themselves in space to appear invisible. Commander Chen watched the approaching fleet. They think they're hunting us. In reality, they're walking into a lesson. Mira Solis grinned. Do we let them get closer? Chen nodded. All the way. Patience is a weapon they've forgotten. The fleet moved silently. Nexari sensors detected nothing, until the first subtle distortion appeared. Ships reported navigational errors, minor at first, growing exponentially. Gravity wells shifted unpredictably. Beam weapons misfired. One by one, alien ships collided or were trapped in spatial folds. Not destroyed by firepower but by humans' control of physics itself. From the shadows, the human fleet observed, calm, calculating, almost clinical. And the galaxy continued to whisper, the humans are not what they seem. Far above the core worlds, Ambassador Moore transmitted a final message to the Varelian consensus. We do not seek war, she said. But we will defend what is ours. This is your final warning. Understand this, humans are not the species to underestimate. We do not rely on numbers. We rely on ingenuity, adaptability, and patience. The galaxy will learn that one vessel, one mind, one strategy, can shift the balance of power. This is not a threat. It is reality. The projection ended. Silence filled the chamber. Even Overlord Vesh's claws trembled slightly. And somewhere in human space, a voice spoke softly. Phase 3 complete, said the AI of UNS Resolve. Cross smiled faintly. Good. Now, let's see who has the courage to follow through. The galaxy had watched, fearful, as humans moved through the shadows of space. They whispered, debated, and panicked, but none had truly acted against the human systems. Until now. In the Korvax sector, a sprawling star cluster rich with hyperspace nodes, the Jakar Dominion prepared their retaliation. Admiral Threx Valuan had recovered what remained of his fleet, patching crippled ships with emergency protocols. His pride had been shattered, but vengeance was an old habit. We strike tomorrow at dawn, he said, voice cold. Every human outpost, every hidden vessel. Leave nothing standing. A young lieutenant hesitated. Admiral, their first strike destroyed a fleet without firing a single shot. Are we afraid? Threx snapped, claws gripping the railing. No. We are the Dominion. Fear is a tool for the weak. Meanwhile, in a clandestine human command hub orbiting the rogue moon Erythra 6, Admiral Elena Cross studied the incoming threat. Scouts report Dominion formations converging, said Lieutenant Jordan. They outnumber us 3,000 to 1. Cross leaned forward, eyes scanning the holographic map. Then we'll fight 3,000 in the ways they don't expect. Prepare the vector traps and the phase shifters. We don't fight mass. We fight leverage. A young officer, Mira Solis, raised a concern. Ma'am, are we risking civilian systems? They'll target population centers if they detect us. Cross turned slowly, her expression calm but sharp. Let them look. Humans always have a way to defend their own. Our weapons are precise, deadly. But the galaxy must see, one vessel or one fleet can make the difference. The Dominion fleet entered the Korvax sector at first light. Ships gleamed under the star, cannons charged, sensors sweeping. They found nothing. Not a single human ship, not a single colony, just empty space save for gravitational anomalies that defied Dominion physics. Admiral Threx gritted his teeth. Form defensive rings. Do not advance further. Something is wrong. Then the first ships began to vanish. Not with explosions. Not with fire. Just disappearing, compressed into impossible singularities, drifting as microscopic points in space. Panic swept across the Dominion fleet. Beam fire misfired. Ships collided with one another. Tactical systems failed. All across the sector the same pattern emerged. Humans had not struck with weapons. They had rewritten the battlefield. From the command hub, Cross observed the chaos with a mixture of awe and control. Phase 1 complete, she said. Now deploy the decoys. Holographic projections shimmered in the room. Human vessels multiplied in the Dominion's sensors, flickering between reality and false signatures. Every movement the Dominion attempted was anticipated, preempted, manipulated. A communication came through. It was Admiral Threx, voice tight with fury. Humans, reveal yourselves. Cross tapped the console. The UNS Resolve appeared in the Dominion's fleet, massive, imposing yet alone. "This is humanity," she said. "And this is what you do not understand about us." With a flick of her wrist, the fleet's gravitational traps activated. Dominion vessels spun uncontrollably, colliding, tearing each other apart. Singularity waves spread across the sector, swallowing cruisers whole. Ships that had taken centuries to build vanished in minutes. Elsewhere, in Viral Prime, the Grand Chamber observed the transmissions in horror. Envoy Silex's crystalline body shook. One ship, one fleet, and entire systems erased? Overlord Vesh hissed, claws drumming. "They are more than we imagined. More than any history warned." Kethrael, the archivist, spoke slowly, eyes narrowing. "They are apex predators in strategy, not size. They use physics as a weapon, leverage as a shield, and patience as a spear." A senator whispered, "We underestimated them." Kethrael's voice cut through the murmur. "We did. And it may already be too late." Back in human space, Cross received word from the stealth fleet shadowing Nexari convoys in the Shattered Reach. "Phase 2 ready," said Commander Chin over secure comm. "We've trapped their entire squadron in fold space loops. They cannot escape." Cross smiled faintly. "Good. Let them learn the lesson. One more move." The AI of UNS Resolve chimed. "Targeted anomaly detected. Dominion command ship. Probability of success, 98%. Cross's fingers hovered over the console. "Do it." The Dominion flagship flared, then vanished. One strike, surgical precision. Not a shot fired. Not a life wasted, except those who had challenged human foresight. Across the galaxy, news spread fast. Every intercepted transmission, every fleeing pilot carried the same story. One vessel. One mind. The galaxy shaken to its foundations. In the aftermath, human diplomats broadcast to the Grand Chamber once more. "This is not conquest," Ambassador Moore said. "This is clarity. The galaxy must recognize that humanity is not a minor species. We do not require empires to command respect. We require understanding." Even the Varelian elders paused. Cross stood on the bridge of UNS Resolve, looking out into the void. "Phase 4 will test them further," she said. "And when the galaxy asks who stands at the apex, the answer will be clear. Humans, not by size, not by mass, but by will and strategy." And somewhere deep within the remaining Dominion fleets, Threx Valuan whispered, "They are not just machines. They are inevitability." The first strike had ended. But the war of minds, leverage and cunning, was only beginning. The galaxy had finally grasped the truth. Humanity was not merely a minor species. But understanding did not equate to compliance. In the Tessara Nebula, a coalition of Varelian empires, the Jacquard Dominion, the Nexari Swarm, and the Corvin Technate, assembled a force greater than any ever recorded. Their aim: eradicate humanity before it grew further. Admiral Threx Valuan addressed the coalition fleet from his flagship, Obsidian Spine. His eyes burned with intensity. "Humanity may have surprised us with one ship. But one fleet cannot withstand the weight of 3 empires united." Beside him, Envoy Silex nodded. "Their technologies are terrifying, yes, but predictable. They have patterns. We will exploit them." Overlord Vesh's claws tapped impatiently. "Predictable? They bend space and gravity. They vanish entire fleets without firing a shot. I have tasted defeat at their hands. I will not let it happen again." Meanwhile, in human-controlled space, Admiral Elena Cross prepared her fleet for the impending assault. "Scouts report over 5,000 alien vessels moving through the nebula," Lieutenant Jordan said, voice tense. "We are heavily outnumbered." Cross nodded. "Numbers are meaningless if we control the battlefield. Prepare all gravimetric authority platforms. Deploy stealth vectors. And ready the quantum decoy grid. They will think they understand us, but they will only understand consequences." Mira Solis, standing at Cross's side, asked quietly, "Ma'am, do we have enough?" Cross turned, her eyes calm yet fierce. "Enough to survive, and to make them regret underestimating us." The battle began at dawn. Alien fleets poured into the Tessara Nebula. Massive warships glinted against swirling gas clouds. Cannons flared. Sensors screamed. Human fleets were invisible, or so it seemed. The gravimetric authority platforms activated silently. Warp lanes bent unexpectedly. Entire alien squadrons became trapped in fold space anomalies. One by one, alien ships began to vanish. Not destroyed but contained, folded, and suspended. The galaxy had never witnessed a weapon that did not need to kill to dominate. From her flagship, Cross watched with measured detachment. Phase 1 complete, she said. Prepare the counter-manipulation sweep. Suddenly, the unexpected occurred. An alien betrayal within the coalition. Envoy Silex of the Corvin Technate had secretly been negotiating with humanity. They underestimate humans, Silex communicated discreetly to Cross. Allow me to act. I will create openings in their formations. Cross's lips curved into a subtle smile. Do it. But betray us once, and it's your fleet that vanishes first. Silex's ships subtly shifted, opening gaps in the enemy lines. Human forces exploited these openings with precision strikes. Not a single civilian world was touched. Not a single colony was lost. The alien coalition was confused, panicked, and enraged. Amid the chaos, Ambassador Lien Moore transmitted across the coalition's channels. Delegates, witness the strategy of a species underestimated. This is not your failure. It is your choice. Withdraw and survive, or continue and perish. The words echoed in alien minds like a challenge. Overlord Vesh roared in frustration. They toy with us. They manipulate our minds as well as our fleets. Kethrail, observing quietly from a neutral chamber, whispered, they are the apex predators of strategy. Not because they have the largest fleets. Not because they have the deadliest weapons. But because they think differently. The battle escalated further. The Nexari swarm attempted a full assault, sacrificing smaller vessels to shield their capital ships. But human tactics were anticipatory, not reactive. Cross deployed the quantum decoy grid, creating hundreds of phantom fleets in real time. Alien sensors could not distinguish reality from projection. Entire squadrons fired blindly, exhausting munitions and colliding with one another. Meanwhile, gravimetric traps compressed sections of the battlefield. Alien capital ships disappeared, reappeared in impossible configurations, and became trapped in phase loops. From the bridge of UNS Resolve, Cross observed with calm detachment. Phase 2, precision strikes, she said. Target their command vessels. Collapse their coordination. In minutes, the Obsidian Spine and 2 Nexari dreadnoughts vanished. Coalition command broke apart. Panic spread faster than the battlefield could burn. Even as the alien fleets faltered, a moment of human sacrifice occurred. A forward human battalion had miscalculated the gravitational flow. The vessel UNS Sentinel was caught in a collapsing spatial fold. Commander Ravi Chin, aboard, transmitted a final message. Do not alter course. This sacrifice will save countless others. Humanity endures. The fold consumed the ship. Every crew member lost. Yet the fleet survived, and the coalition now feared every single human vessel. By the end of the first day, thousands of alien vessels had been lost. Entire sectors of the Tessara Nebula were now controlled indirectly by human leverage, without conventional firepower. The Grand Chamber on Viral Prime convened urgently. Envoy Silex addressed Kethrail. They are unstoppable. They bend reality, manipulate fleets, and think like predators. How do you fight something that doesn't fight by your rules? Kethrail's many eyes darkened. You do not. You survive until they allow you to understand the world differently. And humanity allows no miscalculation. The chamber fell silent. Somewhere in the darkness, Ambassador Moore transmitted one final message. This war is not conquest. It is clarity. Withdraw or witness the cost of underestimation. Humanity has survived against all odds. This is our way, and it is irreversible. And for the first time in centuries, alien empires hesitated. The war had begun, and it had already shattered centuries of arrogance. The galaxy had never known such fear and awe at the same time. The Tessara Nebula burned not with fire, but with uncertainty. Alien fleets, once confident in their technological supremacy, now recoiled before invisible forces. Every commander knew it. Humanity had rewritten the rules of warfare. On the bridge of UNS Resolve, Admiral Elena Cross watched the unfolding chaos through every sensor feed. Thousands of alien vessels drifted, immobilized by the gravimetric authority platforms. Phase distortions trapped entire squadrons in impossible geometries. Yet Cross did not smile triumphantly, her mind was already 3 steps ahead. Report, she said. Lieutenant Jordan, tense but composed, responded, the coalition is attempting to reorganize. Nexari dreadnoughts are coordinating attacks via microjump relays. Dominion ships are attempting synchronized flanking maneuvers. Probability of success, low. Cross leaned back. Good. Let them coordinate. Coordination is predictable. And predictable is exploitable. Meanwhile, Ambassador Lien Moore addressed the Varelian Grand Chamber one last time. Her image was larger, more imposing, as though the very projection carried authority. Delegates, she said evenly, the war is not over, but the lesson is clear. Humanity does not fight by your rules. We fight by consequence, by strategy, by adaptability. Your fleets, though massive, are predictable. Withdraw and your civilizations will endure. Resist and you will learn why underestimation is fatal. A murmur ran through the chamber. Even Overlord Vesh paused mid-claw gesture. Envoy Silex whispered, they are not just vessels. They are minds. One mind, one fleet, one species, and yet they control thousands of cubic parsecs of space with precision we cannot fathom. Kethrael's many eyes glimmered. This is the apex. Humanity is not an empire. It is inevitability. Back in space, the climactic confrontation began. The alien coalition, desperate to regain initiative, launched a massive wave of attack. Beam arrays flared. Missile swarms flooded the empty vacuum. But the humans were ready. Phase 3, reality collapse. Entire sections of alien formations were caught in fold space traps. Missiles exploded in midair, or never reached their targets. Beams misfired, redirected by localized gravitational anomalies. Ships collided while attempting evasive maneuvers. One by one, command vessels vanished. A Dominion flagship tried to escape, weaving through hyperspace corridors. Cross's fleet anticipated every move. A human vessel emerged behind the flagship, unseen until it was too late. A single gravimetric pulse folded the vessel in on itself. The flagship's destruction was silent, precise, and complete. Mira Solis, observing the battlefield from the Lorna Belt outpost, whispered, it's like they're everywhere, but nowhere. Cross nodded, that's the point. Even as alien fleets faltered, the human forces demonstrated restraint and precision. Civilian worlds, hidden colonies, and research stations remained untouched. The message was clear. Humanity sought respect, not blind conquest. The coalition's commanders, battered and humiliated, realized they were facing not a species to fight, but an intellect to reckon with. In the human fleet, sacrifices continued. The UNS Sentinel, the battalion lost earlier, had bought time. Now, smaller strike teams executed complex maneuvers, often putting themselves at extreme risk to save key outposts. Commander Ravi Chen's final transmission echoed through human channels. Each life we risk is for survival, and for teaching the galaxy what it means to face humanity. We endure. Always. The human fleet responded in kind. Their coordination was flawless. Every move countered the enemy's expectations. At the climax, Admiral Cross made her final strategic decision. Phase 4, the decisive fold, she announced. Engage every gravimetric authority platform in unison. Collapse their coordination entirely. Target the heart of the coalition fleet, the command nexus. Sensors hummed. The platforms pulsed in perfect harmony. In minutes, alien command ships were trapped in spatial singularities. Entire fleets spun helplessly as phase distortions warped reality around them. Admiral Threx Valuan, watching through his bridge, hissed through gritted teeth, impossible, one species, one fleet. Envoy Silex's faceted body trembled. They are not fighting. They are controlling the universe itself. The Varelian Grand Chamber received a final message from Moore. This is not war. This is understanding. Humanity does not destroy without purpose. We endure because we adapt, because we calculate, because we persist. Withdraw and survive. Resist, and you will witness consequences you cannot comprehend. For the first time in centuries, alien fleets began to surrender. The survivors scattered, retreating to regroup. Entire command structures were paralyzed. The galaxy had been taught a lesson it could not ignore. Back aboard UNS Resolve, Cross allowed herself a faint smile. Phase 5, consolidation, she said quietly. We've shown them what one species, one vessel, one fleet, can do. The rest will follow the rules we dictate. Mira Solis looked at her, eyes wide. They'll remember this, forever. Cross nodded. Yes, and they'll remember us. Not as a minor species. Not as a footnote. But as the species that redefined the galaxy. In orbit above EOS 9, humans across the systems watched silently. Children, scientists, diplomats, and soldiers, all understood that this moment was historic. Humanity had survived, not through sheer numbers or raw firepower, but through ingenuity, patience, and adaptability. Somewhere in the galaxy, Kethrael whispered to itself, the apex has arrived. And it is human. The war was over, but the legacy had just begun. The galaxy would never again underestimate humanity. The galaxy lay in stunned silence. Systems that had once scoffed at humanity now trembled at the name. The corridors of power, Jakar, Nexari, Corvin, were filled with whispers, accusations, and grudging awe. Even the Grand Chamber on Viral Prime convened once more, but this time the mood was different. It was no longer arrogance or panic that dominated the chamber, it was realization. Kethrael, the ancient archivist, addressed the assembly. Its many eyes gleamed with measured intensity. Humanity is no longer a species to observe. It is a force of inevitability. They have survived, adapted, and prevailed, not because of size, not because of fleets, but because of intellect, strategy, and the courage to act when others faltered. Envoy Silex's crystalline form shimmered faintly. We underestimated them. Every calculation, every projection failed. Their patience, their methods, it is unparalleled. Overlord Vesh, the most ruthless of the coalition, growled softly, claws tapping. And yet, they did not annihilate us. They did not conquer indiscriminately. They only defended. And they taught a lesson that will echo for millennia. Even the defeated commanders knew the truth. Humans had redefined power itself. On Earth and across human space, celebrations were quiet but profound. Humanity did not revel in destruction. They celebrated survival, ingenuity, and unity. Admiral Elena Cross stood on the bridge of UNS Resolve, overlooking fleets now anchored in strategic positions across dozens of systems. Lieutenant Jordan approached. "Ma'am, the galaxy will never forget this. One vessel, one fleet, changed everything." Cross nodded, gazing at the stars. "We didn't change it by strength alone. We changed it by thinking differently, by understanding what others feared but refused to consider. That is humanity's advantage. Always has been. Always will be." Mira Solis, standing beside her, added quietly, "And yet, so many lives were at risk." Commander Chen, the Sentinel crew. Cross's eyes softened. Their sacrifice was part of the lesson. Humanity survives because we adapt, and sometimes adaptation requires risk. But the galaxy must know, we value life, strategy, and consequence equally. That is why we endure. In orbit above EOS 9, Ambassador Lien Moore broadcasted the final transmission to the galaxy. "Delegates of the Varelian Consensus, representatives of every species," she began, voice calm and unwavering, "the war is over. The lesson has been delivered. Humanity does not seek conquest. Humanity seeks recognition, sovereignty, and understanding. We have defended what is ours. We have preserved life where others would destroy. We have demonstrated that one species, one vessel, one fleet, can influence the fate of an entire galaxy." She paused, letting the words sink in. "This is not an ultimatum. It is clarity. Respect our space. Respect our people. Learn from our methods. And above all, never again underestimate humanity." Across the galaxy, alien species reacted differently. Some fled, retreating to rebuild, humbled by the new reality. Some sought alliances with humans, hoping to learn rather than fight. And some, the proudest and most stubborn, remained defiant, but their strategies had forever changed. No species would dare confront humans in ignorance again. In the Varelian Grand Chamber, Kethrael concluded, "The galaxy has been shaken, not by numbers, not by firepower, but by the courage, intelligence, and ingenuity of a single species. Humanity has secured its place at the apex. And it will endure as long as it continues to think differently, act decisively, and never underestimate itself." In space, the UNS Resolve drifted silently among the stars. Its silhouette, once mocked as old, obsolete, and insignificant, was now a symbol. One vessel had shattered fleets, rewritten strategy, and reshaped the understanding of power. Cross stood on the bridge, alone for a moment. The stars stretched infinitely ahead, a galaxy full of possibilities. "From one vessel," she whispered, "we changed everything." The human fleet assembled quietly around them. Every system, every vessel, a testament to human resilience. The galaxy could no longer dismiss them. The galaxy could no longer ignore them. Humanity had risen, not through brute force but through adaptation, intellect, and unwavering resolve. On EOS 9, civilians, soldiers, scientists, and explorers looked to the stars. Children pointed upward, imagining the universe as a place where humans were not prey, not a footnote, but apex predators of thought, strategy, and survival. And somewhere, deep in the void, alien fleets recalculated everything they thought they knew. Every map, every strategy, every history lesson, they would all have to be rewritten. The galaxy had learned a single, undeniable truth. One vessel, one species, one unwavering will, can shake the entire galaxy. The humans had proven it. The galaxy would remember it forever.